Hello, you're now watching Talking Point G20 TVRI World with me, Tjok Devi, airing from Sofitel Nusa Dua, Bali, where the Supreme Audit Institution SAI20 Summit under Indonesia G20 Presidency takes place. During this two-day summit, which is initiated by the Financial Audit Board of the Republic of Indonesia, BPK RI, Indonesia tries to bring in two priority agenda into this year's summit, namely accelerating economic recovery post-COVID-19 and also supporting the SDGs Agenda 2030. And today on 30th of August 2022, the SAI20 Summit under Indonesia G20 Presidency has been concluded. So we would like to know how's the commitment of G20 member countries in achieving those two priority agenda, and also what is the result during this two-day summit. We'll be talking to the Deputy Chairman of the Financial Audit Board of the Republic of Indonesia, Agustus Joko Pramono. Hello, Pak Agus. Thank you so much for being here with us on Talking Point G20 TVRI World. It is such an honor for us to be with you here.
You're really welcome. And also it is an opportunity for us to explain several things about the SAI20 meetings.
Yeah. Pak Agus, as we know, Indonesia tries to bring in two priority agenda, namely accelerating economic recovery post-COVID-19 and also to support SDGs Agenda 2030.
Yeah.
Why Indonesia chose these two agenda, and also why these two agenda are very important to be discussed among G20 member countries?
Okay. These agendas is not chosen by Indonesia. It's based on the long discussions with all of the members of the SAI20 meetings. We conduct several meetings. I think this last 1 year we have several meetings, technical level and also medium officer level, and also last meetings we held is about month of June, and there's senior officer meetings. And we conclude that, and also we have an agreement for these two areas. First is about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. As you know that Sustainable Development Goals has certain times to be achieved. It is 2030, 2030. So as you know, there's 2 years. These 2 years, it is pandemics. The last 2 years is pandemic conditions. We almost all of the nations struggling facing it, and try to cope with it. So we try to know or we try to give government information what SAI seen about these matters. So in this particular matters, we urge governments to keep implementing SDGs on pace. So when it come to 2030, so it would not too far biased from the beginning's target. That's the first important things. The second thing is that you know that the pandemic makes countries expand trillions more, or like twice and a half more than previous budget. Yeah.
In normal conditions.
In normal conditions. So, and it should be disbursed fast because people is in crisis conditions. It is crisis of health and also economic crisis. So usually when you should disburse budget fast, or there will be lack of control on it. Yeah, there will be lack of. We try to inform the government what is certain control should be implemented in the time of crisis. What we seen when the crisis happened, what have already seen by member country size in their own respective countries, and we discuss. And we conclude that this is one of most important things for the government to address, to make a certain disbursement control and etc. Yeah. Then all of sides support this communique. Yeah.
we'll talk about the communique later. But
Okay.
as you mentioned earlier, that actually pandemic, we can say that pandemic has caused major implications
Correct.
in using the budget, and also it is also very risky.
Correct.
To use the budget during the crisis situation, because as you said before, that it let's say it poses high risk management in using the budget because it is not in accordance to the normal condition.
Yeah.
So how do you see this condition in Indonesia particularly?
Yeah. If we talk Indonesia, we have already experienced a crisis before, is it?
Before this?
Yeah, before this, we have already have experiences some kind of crisis before. First is it was in 1998. It is economic crisis when several banks collapsed, and I think the second crisis is 2004. If you don't mention this crisis, but is it tsunami thing? Yeah, Aceh tsunami. I think a huge expenditure gone. Yeah, to handle the
situation.
yeah. And the third crisis, 2008. Yeah, it is about when government have to bail out certain banks at that times because they assume that it is systematically important banking, so they have to bail out. So this crisis, in auditor perspective, makes governments decrease the control on expenditure. Yeah, so some findings happen, some audit findings happen in that, and until right now, we still see the result of the crisis. You talk about BLBI, it is until right now, it is 1998 product, is it? Yeah, so we try to urge the governments in the time of crisis, we should strict on several things that should be controlled. It's about expenditure, it's about the driver of expenditure, and is about the output of expenditure, and also about the outcome of expenditure. It should be controlled. It should be monitored. It should be evaluated, not only just disperse and we live. Yeah. So this is one of the most important things should be addressed by the government.
But on top of that, Pak Agus, has Indonesia adjusted the policy in using the budget in this kind of situation, in this crisis situation?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Indonesia, I think we already stated the law number 2, yeah, 2020. It is about, is it about the, what is the title of the law? It is pemulihan ekonomi nasional, and yeah, and like there's two things addressed by the law. It is the pandemic COVID and pemulihan ekonomi nasional. Yeah, that's the law, and in that law, several things changes. How the budget is stated, how is the discussion between the government and also the House of Representatives is changed, and you know that in the law, the government release the burden of deficits. So usually we have only 3% deficit based on the law. It release the deficit, so it can goes everywhere, the deficit. Yeah, but in 2023 there's challenges because based on that law, the deficit should be on 3% again. Yeah,
it should be back to normal again.
Yeah, should be back to 3%. So that's the changes. So we try to recommend the governments in the time of crisis, the control should be put in the right place. So the disbursements and also especially for the outcomes of the disbursement process should be managed carefully.
Okay. Does Financial Audit Board of the Republic of Indonesia also adjust the audit system for budget using in this emergency situation, Pak Agus?
For sure. For sure. We also, you know that when it is pandemic conditions, we have some kind of audit methodology that we we cannot travel anywhere, so we conduct the remote audit process now. So we collect the data remotely, and we audit based on the desk audits in our office, yeah, in certain conditions. So several things, several procedures change, and it you know that the huge changes like this occur. There's some big challenges occur. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because it is about the using of the high technology process, and using of the capability is different. The capability of auditor is different. The technology use is different. Yeah, and also the communication process with audit is also different. So it is a big change in our office right now.
Is there any findings during this crisis situation? I mean, with those challenges that BPK is facing to audit the financial budgeting things and also the use of the budget.
I will mention several findings.
Okay.
It is about the budget allocations. Okay. It is about the budget distributions. We have several findings on that. And also it is the outcome of the budget. Yeah. You know that budget distribution should be put on place. If you talk about bantuan sosial, yeah, there's a certain criteria that can receive the certain what you call social help, something like that. Yeah, social fund. Yeah. And also, you see that we found that several or many persons that is not listed on the list should be received person, something like that. Yeah, and also the budget distribution also. You know that in certain area. Should be distributed more because they suffer more, but it doesn't happen at this way. Yeah.
Okay. So is that only administration matters or any other reason?
Yeah, some of it is, many of it is administration matter.
Okay.
But you know the case is also a code, not administration measure.
Okay. Good. Because we're talking about SAI summit, SAI20 summit. During this 2-day summit, what are the challenges that come up from the G20 member countries being discussed here in the summit?
We came from different backgrounds. Yeah. Some part of Asia, some part of Europeans and other countries. And we came from different economic background, sure. Different political situation. Right. Yeah. There's so many challenges about perspectives, about what should we bring to the government, blah, 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 and sectors. But the positive thing is we managed to find the common ground. And we managed to find the common ground. So we have the communique. So there's two things, important things that should be brought to our respective governments. It is about how accountability, transparency during the pandemic, after recovery, and other things, and also the SDGs achievement. There's two things. We have the same things. Actually, we have 12 items in communique, but the two things is most important.
Okay, transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
During this crisis situation, is it that hard to achieve the transparency and accountability?
Yeah. Have you heard that in quite some times ago that the president thought that the budget disbursement is very late?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already hear that always.
We heard before. Because you know that in normal conditions, the budgeting process should be gone through the planning, implementations, and controlling and monitoring and reporting. It goes to certain regulations. But in crisis, you have to spend it right now because people are need for the budget. Yeah. So if the regulations is still based on the normal regulation and it comes, yeah, the budget spending is very late compared to the current condition at that times, and the government tried to improve the budgeting expanding process, budgeting expenditure process, and I think currently they have already managed that.
So how can a SAI20 summit promoting the acceleration of, let's say, taking a strategic role in accelerating economic recovery?
Yeah, you know, our main duty is to promote, our main duty, SAI in every country, is to promote transparency and accountability in government budget expenditure. So in that way, I think government should be informed our perspective about how should government be transparent and be accountable on certain process in the normal conditions and in the crisis conditions. So we will have some the important recommendations, of course, in our daily job. So at that times, we think that if we keep promoting this area, I think that pandemic recovery will be achieved earlier and prudently.
That's the most important thing. Okay, so then, Pak Agus, what are the strategies that SAI20 also take to offer, let's say, to offer to all the G20 member countries to achieve these two priority agendas? Because economic recovery should be accelerated so that we can stay in the pace to reach the SDGs agenda in 2030.
Sorry?
What are the strategies?
The strategies, okay.
That SAI20 summit try to offer to all the G20 member countries, and also, let's say, to global countries in the world.
As you see that, you know that G20 countries is the main economic actor in this global process. So actually, we are echoing the SAI community, not only G20, the SAI community concern to be brought to the G20 members. So this is part of our duty. And if in our perspective, if they keep on track for the transparency and accountability, it will be much more clear, achievable process, achievable process to the governments, and it will be known by all of the citizens what is already taken by the government in the actions, what action has already been taken by the government, and what action has not been taken. So the transparency can inform the government and also inform the citizen what is the budget spending for this area. We will hope that if we keep doing this, so in the certain times, it will accelerate the recovery of the economy after the post-pandemic.
Okay. Accountability and transparency is also closely related to digital transformation, digital economy transformation. It is also becoming one of the three main pillars in Indonesia G20 presidency. So how SAI20 summit try to support these one of the three main pillars, the digital transformation?
Yeah, you see that when the pandemic condition, we have to put our mind and our eyes to the digital process because we cannot make physically.
Because as you say, we use high technology.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
It is not that we can or we have already the resources. No, but we have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it happens suddenly, and we have to transform ourselves for the digital matters.
Yeah.
Digital is about connecting and connectivity. Yeah, digital is about connecting and connectivity. The digital, we conduct the digitalizations. It is not about the hardware. It is about the mindsets. It is about the mindset. So digitalization process in our minds, inside in BPK mind, is about to eliminate the limitation of times and the limitations of rooms, of space. Yeah. So you can do anywhere, you can do anytime, you can do anywhere. Yeah, that's when we have to work from home. The technology should be transformed from the manual process to the digitalization process. Yeah. When you cannot travel, to another place, in auditing, traveling is the first things to do because you go to other side to another side. Yeah,
and we have to see it
we
directly.
Have to see, yeah. So then, how could auditing can be done without travel? That's the main idea of digitalization in our perspective. Okay. Yeah. So we try to transform ourselves from the manual process to the digital process, and it should be done, and it should be done earlier because of the pandemic condition.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pak Agus, for sharing with us your thoughts about SAI20 summit. We also hope that all G20 member countries will promote these two priority agendas and also be more resilient in facing future pandemic that might become.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Agus Joko Pramono. Well, that was all our TVRI World's Talking Point G20 with the Deputy Chairman of the Financial Audit Board of the Republic of Indonesia, Agus Joko Pramono. I am Tjok Devi on behalf of the TVRI World's crew signing out. Stay tuned with us on TVRI World. Goodbye for now.